What if I told you there's an ancient royal bloodline thought traces its origins back to King Solomonic, a mysterious African queen, hidden dynasty that shaped the destiny of a nation and carries the wisdom of the ancient stow. This very day let's go. Deep's Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia's only royal lineage claims direct descent from King Solomon of Israel, the Queen of Sheba, women known in Ethiopian tradition as Makeda. But how did an African queen travel to ancient Jerusalem stand? The wisest king in historian return carrying not only his seed but the bloodline thought would rule Ethiopia for thousands of years. This is the truth they never told youth queens. Journey in 1 Kings 10:1-13. The Bible speaks of a powerful queen from the land of Sheba traveled to meet King Solomon, test his wisdom with riddles and mysterious Shea, came with gold precious stone sand spice, but she left with something much greater in Ethiopian traditions is known as Queen Makeda. After her encounter with Solomonic bore him a son Menelik, first emperor of Ethiopia. Boot. Here's where it gets deeper. Secret of the Ark of the Covenant. According to the ancient Ethiopian text Kebra Nagast 1, Menelik Ikam of Ajhe traveled back to meet his father Solomon, but when he returned to Ethiopia, did not come back alone and brought with him the Ark of the Covenant's sacred vessel that contained the 10 Commandments, and the divine presence of God is sad that Solomon allowed Menelik to take the Ark, protect it from corruption, and hide it in African. To this day, the Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims that the Ark of the Covenant is hidden in Ethiopia by one single monk who dedicates his entire life to protecting it. This was hidden from Usfamalithus. History changes everything because if Ethiopia's truly the spiritual heir of Solomon Africanot on the outside of biblical history, it's at the very center end. This is why the Western Church and European powers worked for centuries to erase this truthy told youth. Story of Solomon and Sheboas, just a myth he told Africa, had no connection to divine lineage. The truth, Ethiopian emperors from Menelik, Eel, the way to Haile Selassie, erowed with the belief that they were ordained by Godas, the true descendants of Solomon's lost kingdom of Zion. This is why Ethiopia is known as the land of Zion, first Christian nation on earth, a spiritual fortress that embraced Christ 300 years before. Roman, while Western powers colonized Africa. Ethiopian freeth prophecy of the Lion of Judah in Revelation 5:5. The Bible speaks, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, root of David's, prevailed. The Lion of Judah is the symbol of the Ethiopian royal family and the last emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie, Ius Crownedus, the conquering Lion of Judah, was seen by Manius, the direct fulfillment of prophecy. This truth was supris obeys. If the world realizes that Africa carries the royal bloodline of Solomon holds the Ark of the Covenant, it destroys the leaf that Africa is cursed, it reveals that Ethiopia was always the true spiritual power that Rome tried to erase, and this is why Ethiopia was never colonized. Return of the hidden knowledge from Milithi world is waking up truth. Thought was buried for centuriasis, rising against Solomonic dynasty, lives through the bloodline. The African peopleland, those who are redido, reclaim their divine heritage, remembering right notional. Because I haven't even revealed ancient rituals of the Ethiopian priests at. Allow them to tap into divine power and protect the Ark of the Covenant. To this diota. If I told Eutha, as a hidden bloodline thought, connects Africato, ancient Israel and divine prophecia, royal dynastic toims, direct descent from King Solomon and the Queen of Shebath world, calls ith Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia. Buthisis, the story they never wanted you to know. Let's go deep. The queen who came from the south. 1 Kings 10:1-13. The Bible tells Yusuf, a mysterious queen from the land of Sheba, traveled to Jerusalem to meet King Solomon. Came with gold spice and precious stones, but she left with Solomon's seed. Growing in her Wamban Ethiopian tradition, is known as Queen Makeda. From their union a son was born Menelik, Ites, first emperor of Ethiopia's hidden prophesibit. Here's where it gets deeper. When Menelik I became of age, he traveled to Jerusalem to meet his father, but when he returned to Ethiopia, brought something that changed history forever. Ark of the Covenant's sacred vessel that held the 10 Commandments and the presence of God. Is sad that Solomon allowed. Menelikto take the Arcto protect I-10, hide I-10 Afrikand to this day. Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims that the Ark of the Covenantus hidden in Aksum. Ethiopiagward, by one single Monkwo, dedicates his entire life to protect it we. This was erased from history from Milishink. Everything be case, if Ethiopias, the spiritual heir of Solomanthan Africanot, on the outside of biblical history it is at the center of prophesythesis. Why Romind, the Western Church, worked for Centuriesto bury this truthy, told USD's story of Sheba and Salomon was just a mythy told US Africa had no Roline divine history but the truth is Ethiopia, the lost kingdom of Zion Ethiopian emperors from Mentelik Ito Haile Selassie. He claimed they were ordained by Godas. The direct bloodline of King Solomonthus is why Ethiopias, known as the land of Zion first, Christian nation on earth a spiritual fortress that embraced Christ 300 years before Romand, while the rest of Africalas, colonized and enslaved Ethiopiarnem, freed Lion of Judah prophesying Revelation 5-5, the Bible says, Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judath, root of Davidus, prevailed. The Lion of Judahis, the symbol of the Ethiopian royal familiand, the last emperor of Ethiopia Haile, Selassie Idus Crownidus, the conquering Lion of Judath world, thought he was just a king but, to those who knew the prophesia, was seen as the direct descendant of Solomonand. The fulfillment of ancient prophesy we. This knowledge was hidden Beckos. If the world knew thought, Africa holds the true bloodline of Solomonand, protects the Ark of the Covenanted, would destroy the Lisat, have been Usedto, oppress, and erase. African history it would provet black Piaplir, not only part of the Bible or the heart of the return of the ancient knowledge familithi world, is waking. Upt truth thought was hidden for Centuriasis, rising against. Solomonic dynastistal lives through. The bloodlines of the African peeplind, those who are Ito, reclaim their divine heritage remembering right. No shall I keep going, because I haven't. Even Revialed ancient Ethiopian ritual sust to protect the Ark of the Covenant and activate the energy of the Lion of Judathet. They still perform to this day what if I told you there's an ancient prophecy that connects Africato, the throne of King Davidand, the wisdom of Salamana, royal bloodline of thought, stretches from Jerusalento, the mountains of Ethiopia, hidden dynasty thought protects the Ark of the Covenant and carries the true legacy of Zionthizis, the Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopialites. Godip queen, who changed historian 1 Kings 10, the Bible tells yous about, a mysterious queen from the land of Sheba, traveled to meet King Solomonic, came with gold precious stone sand spices. But she left with something much greater in Ethiopian tradition is known as Queen Makeda. From her union with Solomon's son was born Menelik. Id first emperor of Ethiopia's secret they hid from the world when Menelik came of age he traveled back to Jerusalem to meet his father but when he returned to Ethiopia brought something that changed history forever Thark of the covenant's sacred vessel that held the 10 commandments and the presence of God according to the Kebra Nagustan ancient Ethiopian text Solomon allowed Menelikato take the Arcto, protect it from corruption, and hide Itern Africato. This daith Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims the Ark of the Covenant is hidden in Aksum. Ethiopiagward by one single Monkwo dedicates his life to protect it we. They never told us this Beckos, the Shangus, everything of Ethiopia, holds the true bloodline of Solomon and protects the Ark of the Covenant in Africa, not on the outside of. Biblical history 8 is at the center of Iten Visus, what Western power sand the Vatican worked for Centuriesto, erase from history of kingdom that could not be colonized. Menelik Ito, Haile Selassie, Solomonic dynasterial Ethiopia for over 3,000 Severy, Impera claimed direct descent from the house of David. This is why Ethiopia was known as the New Jerusalem, the first Christian nation on earth long before Romand, the only African nation that was never colonized. Lion of Judah, prophecy, and Revelation 5-5, the Bible says, Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judath, root of Davidus, prevailed. The Lion of Judahis, the symbol of the Ethiopian royal familiand, the last emperor of Ethiopia Haile Selassie, Idus Crownidus, the conquering Lion of Judato the world, was just a king. To those who knew, The prophesier was seen as the direct heir of King Solomon and the fulfillment of divine prophecy. They feared this knowledge because, if the world knew thought, Africa holds the true bloodline of David and the Ark of the Covenant would shatter the least that have been useto arrays. Africa's divine history it would prevent black clear, not only part of the Bible, are the foundation of its return, of the ancient knowledge familiar world, is waking up truth. Thought was buried for centuries, rising against Solomonic bloodline flows through the vine Seth. The African people and those who are redito reclaim their divine heritage. Remembering great notional, I keep going because I haven't even revived. Ancient Ethiopian priesthood thought still performs the hidden riddles. Protect the Ark of the Covenant, activate the power of the Lion of Judah. What if I told you others a hidden bloodline thought connects Africado King Solomon and the Ark of the Covenant royal dynasty that ruled Ethiopia for 3,000 years and claimed direct descent from the house of David. This is the Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopian. This is what they never wanted us to know. Let's go deep. The Queen of Sheba and King Solomonian, 1 Kings 10. The Bible speaks of a mysterious queen from the land of Sheba, traveled to Jerusalem to test King Solomon's wisdoms, came with gold precious stones and spice, but she left carrying Solomon's seed. Ethiopian tradition is known as Queen Makeda. From her union with Solomon came a Menelik, first emperor of Ethiopia's secret they hid from Uswan. Menelik came of Agi, traveled back to Jerusalem to meet his father Solomon, but when he returned to Ethiopia, brought with him the Ark of the Covenant, sacred vessel that held the 10 Commandments and the divine presence of God according to the ancient Ethiopian text. Kebra Naga Solomon allowed Menelik to take the Ark to protect it from corruption and hide it in Africant. To this day, Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims the Ark of the Covenant is hidden in Ethiopia. By one single monk dedicates his entire life to protect it. They never told us this because Thishangus everything if Ethiopia holds the true bloodline of Solomon and protects the Ark of the Covenant and Africa, not on the outside of biblical history. It is at the center of it, and this is why the Roman Church and Western empires worked for centuries to erase this truth empire that could not be. Colonistrum Menelik, Ito Haile Selassie, Solomonic, dynasterial Ethiopia. Over 3,000-year Severy, Emperor claimed they were ordained by Godas, the direct heirs of King David. This is why Ethiopia was known as the New Jerusalem, the first Christian nation on earth, 300 years before Rome, and the only African nation that was never colonized. Lion of Judah, prophesy in Revelation 5:5. The Bible says, "Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, root of David has prevailed." The Lion of Judah is the symbol of the Ethiopian royal family and the last emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie. I was crowned as the conquering Lion of Judah. The world was just a king. To those who knew the prophesier was the direct heir of King Solomon, the fulfillment of ancient prophecy. This knowledge was supersede base. If the world knew thought, black people carry the bloodline of Solomon and protect the Ark of the Covenant, would shatter the myth that Africa was cursed. It would reveal that Africa was chosen, that Ethiopias, the true spiritual Zion, return of the ancient knowledge from Malathia, truth that was buried for centuries, rising against Solomonic bloodline. The veins of the African people and those who are redito reclaim their divine heritage. Remembering great nouth, greatest secret of biblical histories, hidden in Africa, royal bloodline thought connects King Solomon to the Queen of Sheba flows through the Vinesif, Ethiopia's Solomonic dynasty. Let's go deep. The queen, who came from the south in 1 Kings 10. The Bible speaks of a mysterious queen from the land of Sheba traveled to meet King Solomon to test his wisdom and power. She came with gold spice and precious stones, but she left with Solomon's seed. An Ethiopian tradition is known as Queen Makeda. From her union with Solomon came a son Menelik, first emperor of Ethiopia. Hidden truth, they erased one Menelikam of Agi, traveled to Jerusalem to meet his father, but when he returned to Ethiopia, brought something that shook the world. Ark of the Covenant, sacred vessel that held the 10 commandments and the divine presence of God according to the ancient Ethiopian text. Kebra Nagus Solomon allowed Menelikto take the Ark to protect it from corruption and hide it in Africa. To this day, Ethiopian Orthodox Church claims the Ark of the Covenant is hidden in Oxum. Ethiopia'sdynasty by one single Munkwo dedicates his life to protect it. This was hidden from wisest the Angus. Everything of Ethiopia holds. The true bloodline of Solomonic protects the Ark of the Covenant in Africa, not on the outside of biblical history. Africa is the origin of biblical history. This is why the Roman Church and Western empires worked for centuries to erase this truth kingdom. That could not be colonized. Mentalik Ito Haile Selassie, Solomonic, dynasterial Ethiopia. Over 3,000-year Severy Impera claimed they were ordained by God. The direct bloodline of King David. This is why Ethiopia was known as the New Jerusalem, the first Christian nation on earth 300 years before Roman day. The only African nation that was never colonized. Lion of Judah prophesy in Revelation 5:5. The Bible says, "Behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, root of Davidus, prevailed. The Lion of Judah is the symbol of the Ethiopian royal family and the last emperor of Ethiopia, Haile Selassie. I was crowned as the conquering Lion of Judah. The world was just a king, but to those who knew the prophecy, he was the direct heir of King Solomon and the fulfillment of ancient prophecy. They feared this knowledge because, if the world knew, thought black people carry the bloodline of Solomon and protect the Ark of the Covenant, it would shatter the lethal. Africa is cursed, it would reveal that Africa, the original Zion, that black Piapla, the true chosen people, return of the ancient knowledge familiarity. Truth that was buried for centuriasis rising against Solomonic bloodly nestle flows through veins of the African people, and those who are redito reclaim their divine heritage, remembering great. Now,